truck rig. Nice low. I love that bumper. That is a sweet looking bumper. What's going on out there, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Caveman Mods. It's a hot one today, guys. You know, stepping in a bunch of tape down here. Anyways, so working on the car, trying to get this wrapped up. Give you guys a little peek of what it looks like right now. Yeah, it's back in. Spoiler alert. Sorry, guys. So I got to this point, but I'm not completely done yet. Okay, so I got to get in here. We're going to lash the valve still. I'm going to show you what kind of hardware I'm working with under the valve covers. I'm going to attempt to make some bracing come up through here off the front of the block. Go up here to the turbos, hold them up. Before I go any further though, guys, do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share. When you do comment below, you know, kind of let me know what it is you guys want to see me do with this car, or what you want to see with this channel, or, you know, happen with this channel, whatnot. If there's anything in particular you guys want to see, let me know. But there's a couple things we're going to do. I got the laptop out here. We're going to do some programming on some stuff. Right now, I'm back here working on some of this wiring. Can't really tell right at the moment, but down in there is, oh, about to bend the distributor. Right there is the Holley dual sync distributor. That's what we're going to be using right there to run the timing on this, because running it the way I was running it, it's not really the right way. So I'm gonna get that hooked up today. I think I'm gonna show you guys how to go about doing that. Now, as far as getting to that point right there, it's as simple as putting a distributor in a car. The only difference is we're at 50 degrees top dead center. That is before your piston reaches top dead center on the compression stroke, number one cylinder right here. In case you guys didn't know, figure you probably did. If you could tell, I'm on the phone with Holley, and if they answer, I will get back to you guys here in a moment. But got a question for them. Hopefully they can help me out with it. Now, before I did drop that distributor in there, I also want to say that we primed it. I primed the oil system. So see, I got my oil drive right here, oil pump drive. We got everything primed. We're getting oil up here to the turbos. I may have to go in here and restrict these, because there's a lot of flow coming to this, and I actually drilled out the fittings down in here, down in there. I don't know if you can see, but the fittings, so this oil goes into this 90-degree elbow right here, and in this little cap, or this plate right here that has this fitting on it, I drilled out the fittings right there. There's restrictors. I want to get as much oil as possible, so if I'm wrong on that, I'll find out pretty quick. I will say that priming the oil on the dash, I'm getting, I think my wife said 56 pounds of oil pressure. Now, I will say I didn't have the drill cranked, so I mean I should get upwards of 70-80 pounds of oil pressure. This is a high volume pump, a milling pump. The tolerances are correct in the block. I bumped it over a time or two, just to make sure everything was copacetic with the flywheel and the starter, because we do have a new SFI approved flywheel in here. Also, it's an internally balanced flywheel, so there's no weights on that flywheel. No weights on my dampener also, although it is filled with a fluid, so as the RPMs go up in the engine, the fluid expands to the outer edge, and you know everything about centrifugal force, so on and so forth. Yeah, it's supposed to help it out some, but yeah, it's not balanced either. Everything's internally balanced in this engine. Another thing, while putting this in, I went with a different timing cover. This one's a billet aluminum one. The one that was originally there was the thin tin crap, and it really didn't look that great. So when I put that in, I had to shave the cam button down, because that particular set, the timing gear set, it's in this block, was designed for a factory style cover. So what I did was, where there's a bearing, a little button at the end. It's called a cam button. That button has a lot of room on the back side where it sets into the groove at the end of the shaft for the cam. And what I did was just shave the back side of that off and set that bearing in closer towards the cam where there's nothing interfering in there, but it gave me my 5/1000ths clearance between the plate right here, or the between the edge of this and the cam, so everything's nice and tight in there. So actually, as we get oil flow up into that area, it should be a nice confined kind of area where it kind of has a lot of oil feed to that area. So I got the little nipples, or the passages at the end of the block. I got the ones that got holes in them so we can feed oil into that particular area. Also on this block we had it decked, so I have a thicker intake gasket up here, and that's to bring my intake back to where it originally was. So my distributor, I've already coated my distributor in this Lucas racing grease I have, and what that does is once you put it in, take it back out, and you can see where your gears mesh up together. And as long as you're at about 50%, somewhere around 50% engagement within that cam gear and that distributor, you should be just fine. Other than that, I got to learn exactly what I'm doing when it comes to wiring up this distributor right here. So I'm on the phone with Holley right now trying to get the specs about this correct and make sure I'm not going to give you guys false information. On top of when I'm tuning with the laptop, how to set this up in the computer. I have the new version 6.2 software, and when installing this, the instructions that I got with this tell me to do one thing, but then when you open up the ignition settings in the 6.2 version software, there's an option to set it up for dual sync. So I don't know which one I'm supposed to check, so we're going to ask them. In the meantime, I'm going to get the rest of this tape off so I can get to everything and make sure that I'm doing the right thing back here. I don't want no mistakes. So I'm going to get to that, and I'll get back to you guys here shortly. Well, made it back, got off the phone with Holley, figured out what I needed to get figured out. So like I said, I was just double checking some things. But so when it comes to this dual sync distributor with the Dominator ECU, I'm running a digital 6AL box with the Blaster 2 coil. The sticker's coming off, that sucks. I'm losing horsepower. So all you want to do, it's very simple. The wiring harness for the Dominator itself, or for the actual wiring harness for the engine, it has a white wire coming out of it that I didn't have plugged in for anything because I was using the magnetic pickup distributor, just a regular MSD distributor, prior to this. Now that I'm going this route, we're going to use the points pickup, points output. So there's a white wire coming from the digital 6AL that we're hooking up to the points output from the Dominator ECU coming out of that harness. And that's it. It's that simple. I got them connected right here. This one right here, this is it. I'm going to get this all loomed back up and put back. While I'm at it, I have this wire for the old magnetic style in here still, which is connected to that. I believe I'm going to leave that. I don't think there's any reason to really take it out of it and get it out of the way. I don't need it in here right now, but if I ever decide to go back to that or to downgrade the motor in this for any reason, that's already here. So I think I'm just going to keep that there. When it comes to the software, so before you even hook up that white wire, you want to download the software, get it all up to date. So I'm working with version 6.22, and with that particular update, the actual installation instructions does not apply. So with this, they tell you to go in and set up your configuration, your ignition type. They want you to go in and configure it, set it to custom. You see right there it says ignition type, and you put it to custom, and then you go in and configure, and then you got to set up all this stuff right here, cam sensor, crank sensor, output setup, all that. And with the updated version, you don't have to do that because it's actually compatible with the software now. So when you open it up, you're not online or anything like that. When you open it up, you're in the laptop, you have the option to set it straight to dual sync, and everything's done for you, set up just like it says here in the instructions. So we got that hooked up, got the computer flashed, got everything plugged back in now, and at this point we're getting ready to set the timing. And what you want to do, I'm gonna get over here to show you this, but right here you can see down in there we got these 2 lights on, and right here, it's really hard to see, but right there, right here, there is a, I guess it's a little Allen screw or star bit, whatever. You want to line that up when you first put this in. You want to get this close to your number 1 cylinder, because your distributor itself is not going to move, or your distributor gears. This is not moving. You're going to move the housing. So anyways, get it set in right here. Get these 2 lined up, and get your distributor button pointed in, or rotor button pointed in the direction of your number 1 cylinder. When you get to that point, this engine rotates clockwise. So what we're going to do is turn this clockwise until that light goes out right there. It says crank. It says cam over here, crank over here. And then we're going to turn it counterclockwise till the light comes back on. We're going to slightly go back clockwise till it comes off. And go back. We'll make sure that's sitting flat in there. Come back, boom, it's on. Okay, right there. That's how sensitive this is. Just a slight little rock of that. I believe that's where they want us. So it's on. It's on the digital falling angle. And from what we do there, forgive this mess, guys. I'm the sloppiest mechanic. That's what I should have named this channel, Sloppy Mechanic. We're gonna come over here and snug down a distributor tie down, distributor lock, nut, whatever you want to call it. Hold down. We're gonna tighten this up and make sure that light stays on. Yep. Great. It isn't easy to do one hand holding the camera. This is why I don't record stuff, guys. Makes it hard. Makes it difficult.
I didn't know you were back already.
Yep, been back for a minute. Son of a biscuit. So, let me see what my old lady wants here, and I'll get back to you guys. So from that point, got this tightened down. Right there where we want to be when it comes to the timing. From here, we're going to go ahead and put on our cap. Let's get the wires out of the way. Make sure we're orientated in the right direction. Okay, set. Oh, son of a biscuit. Go figure. Let me hunt those down. Well, guys, here it is. It's pretty late. It's dark outside. Got a mess everywhere. I'm gonna start getting this cleaned up once I get this car finished up. But I got the distributor. Everything's set where it's supposed to be. All my wires are going where they're supposed to be. Now this cam particularly is a 4-7 swap. So all I need to do is swap the 4 or number 4 and number 7, the plug up wire right here, and everything else takes care of itself. The cam is, I believe, 5, maybe 6 degrees advanced. But before we go even attempting to fire this up, the next thing I need to do is correct my valve adjustment. And one of the things a lot of people, I believe, is going to ask on how I do this, and off subject again here, but don't worry about these wires. I got this boot, these boots right here to fix that, so that's no problem. Anyways, so a lot of people are trying to figure out how I'm going to get these bolts out and get this off. This right here in the way, because technically it's in the way. What I do is I just don't put the wing nuts on these since they're so close to the manifold or the header. And just use a wrench. A 5/16 wrench fits right on there. I will say you got to kind of put it at a slight angle. It doesn't fit at 100%, but it does the job. So we're gonna get ready to lash these valves again. Whenever it's hot, they want it lashed at 10 thousandths. So I called them, they said lash it at 6 thousandths. I'm gonna go ahead and lash it at 5 because that's gonna get me closer. So I think we'll be fine with that. It'll probably put us around 11, so I'm hoping. But yeah, so I'm gonna get this off here real quick, show you guys how I do this. I still got the driver's side to do, but we're gonna lash these valves and then should be ready to fire up, guys. There, holy moly. That sucker's on there. That one's out. I will say on this exhaust here, I had to put a rope on it and pull it forward to get it to buckle up right there on that V-band flange, but not that big a deal. And that's just because I made it so tight where it's pulling on that little rubber bracket that hangs in the back of the car. So I got to pull tension on it to keep it up off the ground, you know what I'm saying? That 4-inch exhaust with that 90-degree elbow in there it's a little bit of a tight squeeze between the ground and the tip of that thing. I know, guys, this is a mess. I gotta figure this out. Alright, getting this off is a breeze. I'm gonna try to do it with one hand, but I can't promise anything because I do have the dipstick here, and now I got my wires in the way. Along with that wire up here. Getting that off. Maybe not as much of a breeze as I thought. It was when I didn't have the wires on. It's these big wires right here that are holding the ground and positive there. That should ready to come. Boom. See, I got fresh oil up here, so we ought to be good whenever it comes to firing this up. I primed it. This is what we're working with here. I got AFR rockers, AFR stud girdles, AFR heads, gaskets, everything. This still to the old distributor. We're gonna wrap that up here in a little bit, but so now I'm gonna loosen these 4 bolts on top, these 4 on bottom, to give me access to all these. And the way we're going to tighten these is the intake open, exhaust closed method. So we're going to go through the engine 1 cylinder at a time. I'm going to pull this side off. We're going to start right here, work our way down one side, and go over here, work our way down the other side. And when I get to that point, I believe I will have everything mechanically buttoned up, and we'll be ready to fire this up for the first time. So I don't have all the wires and everything cleaned up just yet, for a good reason, because if I have to get back in there and mess with any of it, then I don't want to have to cut it all back apart, you know, tape and all that. So we're gonna try to fire it up as it sits, and then once I get this done, we'll get this all cleaned up, get these wires all nice and pretty looking, and then from there, just give you guys a first start in this video. So a lot of firsts. It's the first engine I ever built from the ground up. I've changed cranks, I've changed a few pistons, I've changed rocker arms, I've changed heads, I've changed all kinds of things on an engine, but I have never put everything in an engine brand new. I've never replaced a cam in an engine, let alone put one fresh in. Yeah, this is the very first engine that I've ever built from the ground up. So fingers crossed on this one, guys. If I look like an idiot, it's going to be here on YouTube, so we're going to see how good I am at this. I'm going to get this side off right here, we're gonna move forward with this real quick, get all these valves lashed, and try to get this wrapped up, maybe fire it up tonight. Alright, well here it is, another day. Go ahead and tell you straight up, guys, we already got the motor in the car. I say we, I mean me. Motor's in, everything's all buttoned up. I know I kind of fast forwarded on that a lot. I just wanted to hurry up and get it in and get it fired up, and I did do that. So just an initial test fire, real quick hit, nothing serious. But yeah, just wanted to go over everything, make sure I had all my timing and everything set. So technically at this point the motor's not even broke in, it was just a quick fire up. Turbos, nothing's even hooked up. But I will say, before I go any further, I've been waiting on this here to arrive. So we're gonna go ahead and hook this up. I got this Duel Performance, I think it's 4,300 or so in CFM. Do away with what we used to have, which is that janky old piece of junk. Advanced Auto. See this little spot right here? That's where my water pump was hitting it on the last engine we had in here, and I didn't have, actually had less clearance with it this go around. So don't know how, don't know why that happened, but it is what it is. So yeah, we're gonna go with this setup, and this was made specifically for this radiator. So what we're gonna end up doing is, I've got my little dress up piece that goes right here, and we're gonna throw that on. But I will tell you that I'm gonna have to chop this up. So you can see where I got a cut right here, that little corner off, that piece right there where the hole is, this piece over here, and then this little piece out. And what's going to happen once I put this on, it's going to set in those little holes, those little gaps right there. And once I get those centered up in there, I'm going to go underneath and push it up, and we're going to attach it down at the bottom. That's going to give a little bit more support to that radiator, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get the cutting these out real fast, and then get this all bolted back together, and then we're going to go underneath and do that down there. So stick around, guys. I'll give you a bit of an update on that, and we're going to do a couple other things also. I'm going to remake some spark plug wires, all of them. The way they were going up here before, they were just kind of in the way, and I'll be 100% honest with you, it wasn't working out. I know you're looking at my shirt, sorry. It wasn't working out. We were burning spark plug wires, so not good. Rerouted them, make all new wires. We're going to run them under everything, out the back of the block back there, up to the distributor, or full sync distributor. One other thing, kind of running into an issue. You also notice the car's on the ground. There it is. She's on the ground. She's on all four wheels. Sits lower than I like. So I'll show you the problem that we're running into here. Here's my gas bottle here. It's empty. So see if you can get down here and see. Maybe from back here. Ooh. Oh, try to squeeze you in. Oh. All right, maybe I have to go in from the top. All right. Sorry about that, guys, but see what we're running into. You see the problem we're running into there? The upper A-arm is resting on the exhaust. So I'm gonna have to come up with a solution for that. But what it means at this point, which is gonna do nothing but cause more problems for me anyways. Sorry about all that. So running that 4-inch exhaust down through there is a pain in the butt. I've got fuel lines running right here, which is not that smart. Wanted to reroute them over there, but I'd already ran them there, and I'd need more fuel line to run them over here, which I don't have, and I don't have a lot more money to keep tying up in this build. Being that we got thicker gaskets on the intake down here, or yeah, on the intake, which doesn't really affect this down here, but I got thicker gaskets on the headers, and it's supposed to help stop leaks. Well, what that does is push the header down further out this way a little more. So now this V-band clamp right here is touching up against the solenoid here. Not good. So we're going to do away with the exhaust going down there for now. I'm running out of time, and we're just going to exit the fenders. They're coming out right here, right there, both sides. And sorry, but that's what's going to happen. yeah, that's on the agenda for this weekend. So I'm gonna get to fixing the shroud real quick, or I guess you wouldn't call this a shroud, but the little beauty piece that goes on top. So I'm gonna trim this up real quick. I'll get right back with you here in a minute. Alright guys, here we are another week or so later into this, and I'm going to wrap this video up. You know, I've stretched this one out quite long enough. So yeah, I guess just kind of give you a look at where we're at, where we ended up with where we were. I got this whole thing set up in here. It ain't going nowhere. You can see I got these little flanges cut right here on each side to sit down inside that, keep it held up tight up in there. Got a bit of a mess down here, but I guess I can jump down here real quick and show you where we ended up in the bottom. See kind of right there how I ended up mounting everything. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's got some rib nuts in here, and they just go sit in right inside the cross member here, the rad support, whatever. I put some more on the back side of this, and it's rib nutted into that, and then there's rib nuts in the housing itself, and that's how we got that mounted. Have tested it, they do come on, and everything seems to work. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. Pardon me. I'm gonna wrap this video up, guys, and start on another one. And thanks guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and we'll get back to you on the next one.